Hello guys, today's video I'm going to show you how to create a invoice generator in Google Sheet. So I'm going to build an invoice like this. So this is the final product here, and let me delete these test lines. So here, let me delete another client. So here we have order and with 3 items for client A, and we have an invoice number, and I'm going to create an invoice for these 3 items. So in this menu, invoice menu, we here have a create button. So you just put your invoice number. So we are creating the invoice. Okay, now the invoice has been created, and the invoice will be put in this folder, and also you will have a link to the invoice. Alright, so this is the invoice. The data, all the data is from the spreadsheet, and so this one is very similar to this one. So this is just a template configured in this website, and this one we're going to use that template and update our information in the invoice. Okay, so let me show you how to build this. So in this file, which I will going to share with you, you go to File and make a copy of this file and rename it. Rename it new. So invoice generator new. Okay. And I'm going to close this one. And also delete this file. So let's go to, let's delete these URLs and go to the script editor. Delete the code. Delete the code. So here we're going to have 2 files. One is for the app script and one for HTML. So we need to leave something. For this HTML, I need to keep the body and keep the head. So let's build this app script first. First, we need to retrieve the data from this spreadsheet for this invoice number. Okay. So the client information is exactly the same for the invoice. The only difference is the item. This client order is different. They have 3 different items ordered in this invoice. I'm going to build a function here to get info. So this info, so let's do a variable for invoice. So for test purpose, I'm going to use the invoice 001 and var spreadsheet GAS. Worksheet by name. So here the name is data. So if your in your example, you may need to change this name. If you change this name, you also need to update the code here. Okay, you need to use the sheet name here. In var data sheet get data range, get values. Var rows data length for var row equal to 0 and row less than rows row plus plus. So we are going to loop through the database row by row here to check if the invoice is found or not. It's for number. So this number is the invoice number. Will be the data row, and the column index will be invoice number. A to G is 7 columns, so 7 columns. The index will be 6. Since this is array start from 0. Okay. And if number equals to invoice, we're going to add some variables here for info. We're going to add an object here, and the items, we're going to put the items in array. And, so if the invoice number is found, I'm going to have for item. So this item also object. So for this item, for this item, I'm going to get the item for the description, details, price, quantity, and amount. 5 items. Item dot description will be data row, and index will be 11. 11 minus 1 is 10. Okay, remember to minus 1. And here you are going to have the details, price, quantity, and amount. Change 11, drop. And then we need to add another one for the row index. So the row index will be r plus 1, since the r start from 0, okay? And we need to push this item to this array. So item store push item. And here we can do a log. Item. Let's try to test the first step. So I suggest to test step by step, because sometimes you may make some mistakes in your code, and once you find that, it will be very difficult to do the debug. Okay, this is just my experience. Get anything? Nope, I need to run it again. check it. So okay, so since we have 3 items which have the same invoice number, and here, as you can see here, this is the first one. We get description correct, amount correct, price correct, quantity correct. Okay, so this looks good, and we can remove this log. So we do the loop is done, and we need to check if the items length. So if we found the invoice number in the database, the items length will be bigger than 0. Okay. So if the items length bigger than 0, that means we found something in the database. So if we found the invoice number in database, we need to retrieve the client information, which is from column A to column J. So here we need to do for let's do row equal to items 0. So since the client information are exactly the same, so we only need to use the first one. So this items 0 means the first first item. Do you remember we have a row attribute here? We can use it. So row and we need to add the info. We need to add information. Let's copy this. So info2 will be get range. Range will be we don't need to get range. We need to use the data. Row. I think we need -1 for this because we are using the data. This data is the array, and start from 0. I think let's do this. So to email address, city, country, postcode, phone, invoice, date, terms, another one, 2. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so 10 items. Right, exactly 10 items. And here I'm going to do a log here, log the info. Let's try it again. So okay, we get the date, we get the address, phone number, correct terms, right, due, looks correct, postcode looks fine, 2, client A, city, country, invoice number, and email address. So everything looks good. And we also need to add the items to the items. So these items will be collected from here, from this loop. Okay. And another information we need to add the company information. Okay. For sender, I call sender information. So this sender information is in another sheet called company, and here I already named the range. Here, as you can see here, we have an address, phone number, city, country. Okay. So when you need to use another way, so sender email name. Let's copy the keyword here. So the name will be spreadsheet get range. The name will be the range name is name. Okay, get value. Copy paste. Name, email, address, city, country, postcode, phone. Add one more for this phone. So you also need to update the range name. A lot of copy and paste. Now we can remove this. And we can do a log here. Log the sender. Okay, and remove the info. Let's try it again. So you need to make sure the information you need is correct. Okay, here for the sender information we have this phone, address, phone, name looks correct, postcode, city, country, and the email address. Looks good. And finally, you add this sender information to your info object. So sender will be sender. Remove this line. And finally, you just need to return this. Return info. And you put this invoice as a variable in this function, and you can comment this line. Don't need it anymore. So this is a major part in this script. So once we have this, we can try something. So we can need another function to create an invoice. So for invoice, let's also try use this test. And for info, so info will be, we're going to use this get info function to get the info. So if we need to check if the info is empty or not. So if object dot keys, I see keys info length. So if the length is bigger than 0, that means we have at least one item for this invoice. So if we found, we can create the invoice, else we go to a message. So spreadsheet, let's do it for spreadsheet. Get those invoice invoice was not found. Put the invoice number here. All right, and here we need to do something here. We need to create a template, HTML template. So HTML service, create a template from file. So file will be this HTML file, invoice. Make sure the name match this one. And the template .info will be info. So this info will get from this function, okay? And once we have this HTML template, we can create a PDF file from this HTML file. So, okay, for blob will be utils. Good. No, don't need that. We need the template dot evaluate dot get as. So this content type will be application PDF. Okay. And we're going to for invoice PDF. I'm going to create it with Drive App API. So create file with this blob and set a name. Name we're going to add a so name will be invoice and plus new date. So we added the date and time behind the invoice number. So put a dash here. And so we need to add the extension as PDF. Let's save it. So since this HTML now is empty, and we also can try this function. So the PDF will maybe created like an empty PDF file. So let's try this function. Since we used a new API, this Drive API, we need to give the access for the new API. Allow. It's not here, since it should be your root drive. Okay, so this is the one. So it's empty, and now we can update our HTML file with the code in this template. So you just inspect and copy this invoice container div. Copy the element and put it into your HTML file. Also, you need to copy the style sheet. Okay, the style sheet should be in the header. In the head, and in this one. If you don't know which one is the correct one, you can do a search with this class. Okay, you do a search. So this is a style sheet. You copy the element, put it in this head section. Okay, we have the style, we have the HTML content. We can try it again. Try it again with code. So great. Okay, so this is a new one. So now you have this one. So this one is exactly the same with this one. And our final step, we need to replace the values in this content with the variables we found from the database. Okay, so since we assign object to this template, so this template has an object named info, we can use this info in the HTML file. Okay, so here the first one will be from. So from is your company name. So you do a search. So this one in this template I have a GAS for the company name. You can do a search in your HTML file GAS. So now here you can see you have a header from, and you only need to replace this GAS with the inform. So this GAS is from the sender information. So it's from sender 2. Remove this sender. So if you go to the script, the info, and the info will have a sender object. The sender will going to have a name, email, address like this. So it's not to, it's a name. It's not to, it's name. And this is the email address. Okay. You need to replace the email address with, let's copy this. Replace the email address, just like this, email. Okay. And the next one will be your address. And your postcode will be here, postcode. Next one is your phone number. So your phone, make sure your typo is correct. And business phone number, remember, replace this business phone number with biz phone. And next one will be the client information, I think. So here is your client information. This one. So for the client information, you don't need to use the sender. You just need the info to copy this. An email will be info email, and address will be info address. City and country, city, country, postcode, and your phone number is here. Info, phone, and next should be the invoice number, I think. Number, yeah, the invoice number. So here is the invoice number, replace it with invoice. And have the date and terms. Due, and so the client information is done, and in this table it will be the item information. Okay. So the table head is table row, table head. So here you can see for the description, price, quantity, amount. So if you don't, you can change this. So if you need to use another name, so this is a header, and here we have the table, table body, have a row with data. So So as you can see here, we have the first item in this table row. Okay, so we have the description, and here we have the details, and here we have the price and the quantity and the amount. So this is another one in this item row 2. Since we don't need to, we're going to need a script to create, automatically create the table rows. We can delete the second one. And price. Okay, delete from the TR to the TR. Just delete it. Table body will be here. Table will be closed. So the last div will be your comment, not comment, just I think for the subtotal information. So let's do this part first. So here we're going to use a loop here, use a script here. So for I in info items close this function. So for each items in these items, so for each item in these items, we need to collect the information. Okay, so the information will be, this is a description. Let's replace the description with items I dot description, and we can copy this code to replace this with details, replace this price, and replace this with quantity, and replace this with the amount. And the last thing, I think, for the subtotal and total information here in this div, we have a subtotal div. Then we have the text. We have the text. And now we have the total. So in this example, I'm not going to add any text. And if you need to add it, you can update it here. And here you're going to have a comment. Okay, here I think we need to, we missed one thing. So we missed the total, the subtotal information in our function, in our get information function. We're going to add it later. So here we're going to use information total. Okay. So since there is no text involved in this case, so the total subtotal will be equal to the total, and also the balance due. So they are the same. So if in your case it's different, you need to define 3 different variables. Okay, and the comments you can change it. So in this example, I don't need to add any comments here. And we also need to add this total information in the code. And the total, I think we need to, the variable here, or total 0, total plus item amount, and we add the information as total information save it, and we think we can try to run it. If everything was input correctly, I think we should get something. So okay, this one is the latest one. Okay, so this one is the latest one. Let's zoom in a little bit. So okay, something was, as you can see here, we have the description is undefined. And for others, I need to check the company looks correct, email looks correct, and the city and country is not correct. So it is also the address, phone number looks correct. I need to fix the description issue, and the subtotal looks fine. Let me fix the description issue. Description. 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 Descript. I didn't misspell this description. Description. There are 10. Looks correct. And not this one. The country for the sender. Email name, address. Looks correct. What's wrong? That's hard to debug. For the sender, let me see. So here we have the name, email, address. Okay. So I missed the address here, and here is a country, city and country. So this address, city and country, postcode. The description is undefined. I did something wrong. Let's try it again. Okay. Let me delete this one. Try to run again. Why this one is still undefined and the address is corrected? This description is undefined. What's wrong with this one? Let me check. Okay. So for the description. Items. let's do log data or 10. Okay, the description looks good. What's wrong with that? So let's use the details to replace this description to see if this works. Remove this one. So this red looks good. And why we cannot use the description here? Description. Try it again. Okay, finally. So the description is correct. And we almost have everything ready. So we need to test something else. We need to try to add another client. So let's rename client B. And invoice number 2. And then we add maybe we can add another line. And, change the description to EF. Change the order quantity to 2. Then we can try to create another invoice. Okay, we need to modify the code here. So the invoice, we're going to add to collect the invoice from the end user browser input. Enter the invoice number. Save it. Run. Okay, invoice 002. So now we got 002 here, and we have 4 items, so looks pretty good. That's almost everything, so it's just to finish this last for the URL. So here you can collect the URL, okay? So once you create the PDF file, you can get the URL for this file. Here will be invoice PDF, get URL. You also get the ID, and you need to move this file to a folder. So here, the default where the file will be created in your root drive. And if you want to remove it to any folder in your Google Drive, you only need to get the folder ID to create invoice. So here I have a folder. You just copy the ID, and you can do var folder drive app get folder by ID. Put the ID here, and you can do folder add file. File will be this PDF, and you also need to remove the file from your root drive. Remove file. File will also be this PDF file, and you need to pass some information to end user. So has been created. And the last step, you need to fill the URL here. So let's do this for var I in info items var row will be info items I dot row captured by name data for sheet. So sheet dot get branch row, and the column will be the last column. Okay, 16. And you're going to set a value. Set a value, the value will be the URL. Let's save it. And we can add this function to your add a menu for this function. Open spreadsheet app get UI, create menu, name it invoice, and add item, create, function name will be create invoice, add to UI. Save it and run this on the function. That's so this folder is empty. Let's create these two invoice. So invoice 001. So the file is created, and you should have it in this folder. Okay, so invoice 001. So 001 looks good, and you can create 002 invoice 002. Okay, invoice 002 also created. And you also should have it in this folder. So this is for client B. Okay, that's it. And this is a very simple idea for you guys. And if you need to do some modification of the code, you can do a batch creation for the invoice. Okay, you just need to do some very simple modification of this code. And if you are very good at the HTML, you can build this invoice in this HTML file. But copy the code from this website save a lot of time for me. I'm not very good at HTML and CSS. So that's it for today's video. This video is, I think, a very long video, the longest video I've did. So hope you guys can learn something from this video. So see you next time. Bye bye.